What's going on, guys? Junior's Fishing Company with another nymph video. So I usually just look through a lot of social media and I'll just take pictures or screenshots of stuff that I think is interesting, and I'll just try and mimic it. So sometimes there isn't necessarily even a material description, so I kind of just have to guess and make it up as I go. I don't even think this person gave it a name, so it's kind of a nymph style pattern. Some legs or wings or whatever, and then a nice pheasant tail case. So I just want to kind of show you what the final is going to look like. I've been messing around with dubbings and stuff like that. I've just made 3, but there's a billion ways you can do it. I usually try to, whatever picture I have, I try to make the exact one if I have the colors. And then I'll kind of just go from there. So I've got my, to save time, I've got my, this is a 3/16 inch, gold tungsten bead. Now for the tail, I'm going to use actually pheasant rump. So it looked like in the picture they had probably some type of partridge or something like that. I don't have the color to match that, so I was just kind of going off the cuff. And I've got this actually, I dressed this myself, not very well, but this pheasant rump has these really nice kind of, they're like blue and green, these feathers. So I just plucked one off, stripped off all the stuff I don't need, and then you can see I just peeled off probably 10 or so of these barbs or whatever you call them. And so I'm going to tie that in about, sometimes I'll do pretty long tails, but maybe I'll measure this out about a full shank, maybe a little bit shorter. So I'm going to do a loose wrap, and then I'm just going to work that right on to the top, and I'm going to bury a good chunk of this in my thread, and right before my lead, I'm going to trim that off. So this kind of reminded me of like a Higa's SOS. I've got Brassie, gold Brassie wire that I'm going to do for ribbing. I'm going to tie it right behind my lead, right on the side, and I've gone back and forth if I want the body to be long or if I want, that's sticking up a little bit. My wing case. So the first one I made, I did a smaller wing case. I didn't really like it a ton. I'm going to uncord my thread and just get a little body going. I just want to make sure, if I look at it from the top, that it's going to be even. So I think I'm going to do a pretty big wing case on this. Just get that all the way up. I used medium on a couple of them, but I like this Brassie better. This is a size 10, 11, 20 Daiichi, by the way. So I'm going to put a ton. I'm going to go way up with this gold. Whenever I'm not 100% sure about how big I'm going to do a body or whatever, I just wrap it all the way up. And I'm not super concerned with building up by this bead, because this bead is so big for this hook that there's a lot of space between the hook and where that bead, the hole part, so it'll get buried pretty good. I'm going to save that. I got enough to save for later. So I know I'll probably end up going about to right here, which is about halfway-ish. I just have some natural pheasant. You could use any color that you want. I was thinking about doing like a red. So I'm going to get a really good chunk. If you saw in that example I showed at the beginning, I used a ton of pheasant. And I'm going to want to keep them touching like this. I don't want them to all clump up and overlap. So I'll do just a loose wrap. And kind of bunch them up a little bit. Pull them out. I want them right off the bead. I don't want these ones sticking up. And I just lost a couple, but that's alright. I have a ton in there anyway. Just lost a few. And then I'm going to wrap back behind that wire. And I can kind of play it out and see what it's going to look like. Maybe just a little bit more. So that'd probably be not quite half. And you can't see from this way, but these are still kind of fanned out. So for dubbing, I like this. This is Hare's Ear Dub Insect Green. You can obviously use whatever dubbing you want. This is super. There's a ton of guard hairs in here. It's almost too much. And I'm not gonna like rake this out and make it crazy buggy. I'm gonna kind of just pack this on tight. I say rake it out. I'm not gonna get my dubbing pick and flare it out a bunch. I just want to wrap it nice and tight right up to the bead, and you can see I've got a ton, and I'm not going to waste time on this video trimming, so it's going to end up looking different when I take the picture, because I'll probably sit here for 10 minutes. So now for the legs, I've got a single strand of crystal flash, and I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to take the two pieces and I'm going to connect all four of these ends so that each side is going to have 4 pieces on it. So you can see that's got 4 and that side's got 4, and I'm going to put these on, but I want these to be, these aren't wings, I want them to be kind of legs. So I'm going to get it situated on top, and I'm not super worried about how they're sitting right now. I'm going to do a wrap behind closest to me, and in front close to you, and then in front to me, and then behind on that side, just to kind of lock them in. Now, to get them onto the side, what I'm going to do, make sure they're on the side first of all, and now I'm going to pinch back all my stuff with my fingers, and I'm going to wrap, not just by the bead, right? I'm going to wrap over where that crystal flash is, because I want this to hug my bait. I'm going to pull them down to the side. In that first video I did those rubber legs, and they were sticking out like an X. I want these to be pointed back like legs would. So, and you'll kind of see they're pointing back, and they're about right on the side. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some dubbing down. Just a little more of this insect grain. Just wet my fingers just a little. Kind of want to be careful with how much I'm putting on here. I don't want this body to be huge, and any dubbing that I put on is going to be. So I can get my pheasant pulled on top, and I'm going to show you in just a sec. If I don't know if you'll be able to tell, if I pull and then wrap, you might not be able to see it. I don't want the pheasant by my bead to be pushed in like this. I want it to be all flat. So I'm going to get one wrap, and then I can kind of separate my pheasant so that it's going to be nice and wide. Give it some good tension. This is 70 Denier, by the way. So not too much tension. Separate those a little bit. Make sure that they're even. And now, make sure that those are going to be locked in. So you can kind of see, hopefully, it's as wide back here as it is on the front. I don't want it to be like a V. So now, as close as I can, I love these Dr. Slick scissors. I accidentally ordered the 5-inch. So always be careful what you order. I'm going to get down as much as I can without cutting my crystal flash. I'll give it a couple wraps. Now my okay. Now I'll trim my legs. You can trim these, you could leave them like this. But I want mine to be to the about where my pheasant starts. And you can see that they hug really close, not like crazy on it, but I don't want them to be perpendicular with my hook. So now I can just whip finish. Just a couple turns. 4, I guess. Feeling ambitious. Tighten that up. trim that. Now, do not use thin UV. So I've got thick, and I've got a bunch of these. I've got this little dental pick that works really well for kind of moving that stuff around. This stuff is crazy weird to get out. You have to like break it, and this is where I've always struggled. Getting your UV resin. It's an art on its own. So I'll move the resin. Now if this was the thin stuff, I'd be in trouble. And what I can do is I'll cure this I'm going to cure that. I usually hold it probably 8 inches away. And it cures nice. Just a little bit more. Right there. And then I'll zap that up. And it's a nice big wing case. That we've got. There's a fly I'm thinking of. I can't think of it. That's got the really big wing case like that. So we've got a little pheasant tail, almost like a Higa's SOS body, little style nymph, with a nice juicy 3/16. This thing is going to sink like a rock, but it's nice when you're jigging in 15 feet of water and you want to get down quick. Junior's Fishing Company, juniorsfishing.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.